What's up, y'all? This is Unruined Skate. Thanks for checking out this Vorkath guide, and if you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe. So let's get right into it. So let's go through some of these requirements. Only real requirement you're going to need is Dragon Slayer 2. Assuming you can complete the quest, you can kill the boss. Right? So there's a big list of quests, big list of skills that you guys are going to need. So start off, before we get into the guide, I want to show you what's in my rune pouch, and that's going to be some dust runes, chaos runes, and law runes. And what that gives us the ability to do is cast Crumble Undead, as well as Teleport House. So looking at this range gear here, basically what we're going to want to do is maximize our range DPS. And how we're going to do that is by getting our most accuracy bonus and our biggest strength bonus. So the big strength bonus is going to come from the bolts you're using. So ideally, at minimum, you want to use at least a dragon crossbow here. And one more important thing to note, this goes for range and melee, the salve amulet imbued is going to outweigh any Zenite Drilllia that you want to use here. Getting into the inventory, they're both going to be pretty similar depending on your spec weapon. So the main important things you want to bring is make sure you bring your Slayer Staff imbued. If you want to auto cast Crumble Undead, make sure you bring a anti-venom. Depending on your combat style, a Bastion Potion, Range Potion, or Super Combat. You want to make sure you bring a extended anti-fire potion, and you want to bring some prayer pots and some combo food, as you can see in my inventory there below. So looking at my range setup here, it's pretty standard. I got the range void set up. Also make sure we bring a rune pouch for our Crumble Undead spells and a teleport to get there. Here I'm just going to be using the Fremenic boots, but before I completed the Fremenic Elite Diary, all I did was I moved my house to Fremenic, and then I would just teleport house and then just leave my house, and then I'm right here. And then you just, you run up, you take the boot, you take the boat, and you're there. So let's walk through what we're going to be doing for our first kill. I'll walk you through some of these tile markers for the melee setup. That's what they're more important for. So we're going to want to do our pre-pots. So, eat an anglerfish, get up to 121 HP. Grab our spec weapon. I brought the melee void with the Bandos Godsword. Throw in our prayers. Land both specs, obviously. Every time. So speed it up. Looking at his first attack that we're going to want to watch out for is that purple attack. And all that's going to do is turn your prayers off. So just turn your prayers right back on and you're good. So the next attack we're looking out for is the acid pools. And basically all we're going to want to do is make sure we're walking, not running. Just avoid the acid pools on the ground, otherwise he's going to heal himself. And just keep walking so he doesn't spec you out. Next attack we're looking out for is that big red ball there. If you're not paying attention, he can throw one of those at you and one hit you. And to avoid the attack, you want to make sure you're standing 2 tiles away. Last attack we're going to want to watch out for is when he freezes you, then he's going to throw a zombie spawn on there. And that's when you can equip your Slayer Staff for Crumble Undead, or you can just manually cast Crumble Undead. I like to use a Slayer Staff, it's just a bit more easier, less switches. So we'll speed through the rest of this kill. And I'll include some regular speed kills at the end of this video for you guys if you want to check that out as well. So moving over to the melee setup, basically all we're going to want to do, maximize our strength bonus, maximize our defensive bonus. So we got a nice little chart here, same thing. I want to pay attention to the Salve Amulet EI. That is going to be better here than the Amulet of Torture. And other than that, all pretty standard stuff. Get your hands on a Dragon Hunter Lance if you can. That thing is a beast here, as you'll see. So moving over to my gear right now, I actually don't have the best gear right now, so it's kind of scuffed, but to show you how powerful this Dragon Hunter Lance is, when we walk through this kill, you'll see I'm very close to hitting a personal record with this gear. So moving forward, looking at these tiles, basically these tiles are important for the Wook's Walk in the acid phase, and they just help me get a visual representation of kind of where my character is and where I should click during that phase. So I'll kind of walk through it as it happens. So the same thing goes for the melee kill though. You want to dump both your specs in right away and just give them the business. So on this acid phase 2, basically right away you want to find open space. Once you get that open space, all you need is 3 tiles in a row right in front of them. So you can see right there, if you watch that blue marker on the screen, as my character gets 3 tiles away, so that's that true tile indicator plugin. As it gets 3 tiles away is when I click back on Vorkath to move my character back to attacking him. When I'm attacking him, as that blue tile gets right in front of Vorkath again, that's when I'm clicking behind me to reset that Wook's Walk. So basically, all you want to do is watch that blue tile. When it gets 3 away, that's when you click on the monster. When your tile's right in front of Vorkath, that's when you're clicking behind you, right? So all you need is that 3 little space. Definitely it takes a little bit of practice, but once you guys get into that practice, it's actually pretty easy, coming from somebody who does not click very well. One other thing about the Wook's Walk, when you're doing melee, if you do the Wook's Walk during the regular kill, you will not take any melee damage from him. So you're only going to take range, and you're only going to take the mage hits. So you're actually going to take a lot less damage, but in my experience, that's not necessary. As you can see here, I think I did 4 kills in this trip actually, and I'm not using very defensive gear either, right? Like, I'm using the Varrock's plate skirt and a fighter torso. Like, there's a lot better defensive gear that you can have here. Bandos, Torva, Justiciar. One thing, if you are going to use Justiciar, you're going to need to bring a switch when the freeze spawns, because if you do not, you might splash on the minion, and then he's going to come over and spec you out for a 50. Basically, so, if I were to recommend one melee over range, I would definitely recommend melee. I have about 550-ish KC on Vorkath predominantly. Most of them have been melee. I did range him at the start, for a few hundred KC, but once I invested in that Dragon Hunter Lance, it was game over, and I've just been giving him the business ever since. So, and you can see here too, we already got 2 kills in this melee setup, and we still got a inventory full of food. And with the range setup, it's harder to tank those hits, especially if with the void range setup that I have. Maybe if you have Missouri or fortified Missouri, maybe it could be worth it if you want to get a lot of kills per trip. But in my experience, melee is definitely the cheapest way to get a good amount of kills per trip, and it's usually around between 3 to 5 kills per trip. And with that in mind, I've been able to average around 30 to 40 kills per hour, really depending on if I land my specs. Sometimes you hit without a spec, and sometimes you need the spec, otherwise you're not going to do any damage. That's just the way of the game. So it is what it is. But basically, Vorkath is a money printer. If you guys come here, learn this boss, you guys are never going to have to worry about GP, right? And it's a really cool pet as well. There's not a lot of unique drops here. The GP is mostly just coming from the consistent alkables that you get, Dragon Plate Legs, Dragon Bolt Tips, Onyx Bolt Tips, the Superior Dragon Bones. Yeah, overall, just a really good boss to farm if you guys are looking to make some money, rebuild your account. And on top of that, the Dragon Hunter Lance is a very versatile weapon. So if you're gonna buy a melee weapon, Dragon Hunter Lance is definitely up there with one of the ones that can definitely make you a lot of money if you buy it. Because not only can you kill Vorkath with it, you can AFK some Rune Dragons with it. That's something I'm definitely going to want to put a guide out for, kind of showing you guys what I've been doing for Rune Dragons, because I've did a big rebuild of my bank with Rune Dragons, and it was almost no effort, right? Like, I'm going to the gym, put on RuneScape Mobile on my phone, sitting on the bike for 20-30 minutes. I'm just killing Rune Dragons, and nobody knows. I'm out here making bank on the bike while I'm burning some calories. It's pretty sweet. So I don't know if you're gonna want to be killing Vorkath on mobile, but if you want to give it a shot, right? So here's this last range kill. I want to just show you guys this range kill, just to kind of show you what it looks like at normal speed, not when I'm kind of going through, to show you guys what each attack is doing. So basically, same thing. You just want to eat your anglerfish beforehand. In this case, I don't think I had a spec, so you're gonna see how much slower it is without a spec. And hopefully you get a little bit of context too for what I was saying, comparing the melee to the range kills. Like, you'll see how much damage I take here. Pretty much every range hit that he sends my way is going to be hitting for at least a 20, right? So, you know, these kills I hope provide good examples for you guys to what to expect. But at the end of the day, I think the best practice for you guys is just to get out there, start killing them. You know, learn from experience what works for you guys, because you know what works for me might not work for you guys, right? So I kind of want to just give you guys a brief guide on basically the mechanics of the boss. You know, they're not super complex. He stays still the whole time. You pray the same overheads the whole time. You know, depending on your attack style, you're gonna pray piety or rigor the whole time. So it's not a very mechanically complex boss. It's more of a pay attention to me or you're gonna die boss, right? Like, the only time I've ever really died from Vorkath is if I'm watching a YouTube video on the side and I glance away, and then one of the big red balls, he throws one of those at me, not paying attention, and boom, he hits me for a 90, right? Or, you know, I'm not paying attention during the acid pool, look over, I misclick, and then he specs me out for 90 as well, right? So if you can pay attention, you can kill this boss for sure, 100% every time. Obviously depending on your Wi-Fi, depending on the servers at the time, but you know, in my experience, they've actually been pretty good lately. I did just move and get some new Wi-Fi, so maybe that has something to do with it, but I've actually been pretty pleased with the servers lately. So I mean, me saying that's definitely going to jinx it, and I'm going to DC next time I go on, but at least I'm not a hardcore Iron Man. So that being said, I do have one in the works, but I don't want to jinx anything, make any videos on it before I get past all the boring stuff, right? You know, all these hardcore Iron Men, they all start the same. Anyway, I'm on a tangent. This is a Vorkath guide. I'm talking about our hardcore Iron Men, so let's get back to it. Let's finish off this kill. And if you guys made it this far, don't forget to drop a like. Share your thoughts down below on what you liked about the guide, what you didn't like about the guide. You hate my voice, you love my voice. You hate my gear, you love my gear. I don't know, you like my YouTube channel name? That was my girlfriend's idea, by the way. I think it's pretty dope, so I went with it. Bumping while you at work. 5, 6, that shit you bumping while you at work. Yeah.